Hello, my name is Frederik de Brabander, and in our series of Energy Transition for Resilience, we're very happy to have today with us two executives from leading companies. And so Tom Claerbout from TotalEnergies, welcome, and Stany Vaes from Holcim Group. And I'm here today together with my colleague Stijn Verkammen. Now, Holcim and TotalEnergies have partnered up on a landmark, very interesting project in Aubourg, where Holcim hosts a cement manufacturing facility, and you've teamed up to basically transform the energy provision with one of the largest solar plants in Europe for these type of industrial consumptions. So Stijn will facilitate this session with me, asking a few questions, and I'm sure it will be a very interesting discussion. Stijn.
Yeah, thank you, Frederik. Tom, let's start with you. Why did you decide to partner up for this project? What are the key factors that drive this project?
Well, TotalEnergies is of course, an international multi-energy company, and so we are supplying the energy that our clients are looking for. This energy mix of, so the portfolio of energy vectors that we are supplying is more and more evolving towards more and more electricity. Mm-hmm. And today we even operate 40 gigawatts of solar and wind production capacity, so we are really becoming a big player in the electricity market as well. And exactly that carbon intensity of the energy vectors, but also the availability of it, and of course the affordability, which is a key element these days, are key elements in the expectations of our clients. So in that sense, we are always looking for solutions to help our clients in the energy supply that they are looking for, and of course also in the energy transition that they are also from their side driving. And in this case, well, it's quite obvious. It's producing electricity for a company that is really working hard on the energy transition of its own industrial activities.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Stany, what is your view?
Yeah, Holcim has a very firm ambition on decarbonizing their operations. So we want, as Holcim Group worldwide, we want to be carbon neutral in 2050, and Holcim Belgium already in 2030. Holcim Belgium has several levers. One of the levers is the Go for Zero project, so the construction of a state-of-the-art cement factory in Aubourg. We're working on our formulation, so we're switching from a wet process to a dry process, but we're also working on changing our energy mix. And we're looking for locally produced and renewable energy to decouple our operations from the volatile international energy market. And we were very, very glad because we had this idea, we had this ambition, we had also the space, because we had a depleted quarry, which is now completely filled with water. But we didn't have the expertise to manage to execute this project. So we partnered up with TotalEnergies because they have the expertise, they have the knowledge, they have the scale, and they had the financial resources to do that. And they gave us this fantastic energy hub, which gives us a stable and predictable energy supply.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Stany. So you mentioned already scale. We talk about 55,000 solar panels on a floating lake, 30 megawatts of capacity. That scale, but also the technicality of the project is quite impressive. Tom, can you comment a bit on the challenges?
Well, 180,000 square meters, another dimension to have in mind, is a huge surface. And it's typically one of the challenges that you have if you develop solar power plants, especially in Belgium, a very densely populated area. So finding such a location, and in this case a big lake, is of course very interesting. But it comes also with some challenges, especially as it is the case here, if the environment in which you're operating is really flourishing in terms of biodiversity. And then, of course, you want to preserve the durability is not only renewable energy, but is also, of course, the environment in which you are operating. And in that sense, we had some technical challenges to get this power plant, first of all, anchored because it's floating, but it's of course fixed. It's not just moving around on the lake. To get it anchored, we didn't want to anchor it in the borders of the lake, because there we would have an impact on the nature. So we anchored it at the bottom, but of course, as Stany also mentioned, it's a depleted chalk quarry. And of course, the bottom is not solid. It's not a concrete bottom. So we had to find solutions to anchor it in a solid way by going quite deep in the underground. So that was one of the big challenges we had. A second one is, of course, the connection between that solar power plant and then the consumer, which is in this case the Holcim factory, which is at the other side of a canal, Canal du Centre, in Aubourg. And so in that sense, we had to cross 700 meters to get that connection up and running. And so we drilled under the canal and under, of course, also the nature we have around the lake to get to the substation of Holcim. So also that was quite a technical challenge, but I think it was worth doing it because it's now really fully integrated in the environment that we are using.
Yeah, and indeed, talking about biodiversity, there's a lot going on in the landscape. What other things did you do to account for integrating in a proper way?
At Holcim, we're very, very happy with this project. First of all, with the scale, it's with the 30 gigawatt hour, and we have the ambition as of 2030 to go to 50% of our electrical consumption with the renewable energy. So this is a major step. So the scale is very important for us. But like you indicated, we are also very happy that we found a partner in TotalEnergies to execute this project with respecting the biodiversity. It's a depleted quarry. Like with every quarry that we no longer operate, we have a biodiversity management plan. We restored the biodiversity. So over the last couple of years, we did a lot of work to restore this biodiversity. The biodiversity is there now. And we didn't want to jeopardize this biodiversity that we have built up there. So for that, we took decisions in the phasing of the execution of the works so that they would not interfere with natural breeding cycles and so on. Like Tom already said, we didn't want to have major interventions in the landscape, so that's why we did the underground drilling and the connection. And also this anchoring system that we didn't want to do very visible in the sides of the quarry. That's what we achieved, and that's a good thing because the quarry is open for visitors. We have a project to raise awareness around biodiversity or the re-establishing of biodiversity on old industrial sites at our quarry with the Maison de la Biodiversité and so on. So we wanted to have this renewable energy, but not at the expense of our biodiversity efforts.
Yeah, great. So a well-balanced approach there to achieve that energy transition. So indeed, Tom, you mentioned already you are becoming a major player on renewables, let's say. Let's talk about energy distribution delivery to your client and such models. What is actually key for your clients? How do you see also the initiative going forward beyond the flagship initiative we are discussing?
Yeah, well, it's clear that electrification is more and more important for industry in general. Yeah. And our clients are looking for clean/renewable and firm power. Firm being available when needed. And so you see the combination of an important development of renewable energy, renewable electricity production with all the volatility that comes along with it. And on the other hand, of course, all the flexibility solutions. It can be electrical batteries, it can be hydraulic batteries, it can also, of course, be also a flexible production via, for example, gas power plants. So those are typically the two ingredients, and the clean and the firm power that the clients are looking for. If those clients have a strong, big baseload consumption, then of course the self-consumption of solutions that are built on site become very interesting. And that's exactly what we did here. And there is a a solid, big base load, and the solar power plant is providing that base load energy. So in that sense, yes, we adapt to the needs of our customers, and especially when we are in these circumstances, on-site self-consumption driven power plants are really the solution.
Thank you, Tom. And indeed, also from your perspective, Stany, Holcim is not only present in Belgium, obviously. So what's your view on the potential here for this kind of solution going forward? Any considerations that you think are key or success factors?
Yes. This is an important pilot project for Holcim Belgium. But I'm very confident that it will not be a one-off. Like Tom said, it's 18 hectares of solar panels in our quarry.
Yeah.
We have room for more. We have 100 hectares, so maybe we can reproduce that also locally in Belgium, but probably also elsewhere in the world. A cement factory traditionally is located next to its quarries where the raw material is. So a lot of cement factories that are in the same configuration as the Aubour plant, which gives a position, surface, water or ground to put solar panels, battery packs and so on. A lot of other colleagues within the Holcim Group are looking at our pilot project and want to know what the lessons learned are and how to reproduce that elsewhere in the world.
Excellent.
Right. Well, Stany, Tom, Stan, I think it was a really interesting discussion. It's great that you came over to share this landmark project. It's fantastic to see that two companies partner up to make the transition actually happen. And I think we need much more of these type of projects to actually make it clean, competitive, and firm, the power and the energy transition. And if I combine these three words, I think this makes a resilient industry going forward for Europe. So thanks for being here, and I look forward to the next session.